Hello friends, welcome to what is not the rant review that I promised you. I have been very sick for like a week at this point. I did not have it in me to film my rant review because I get really intense, and also I don't want to do it when I don't feel good because I'm excited for that video. I do have the book on my phone. My notes are finished at this point, so it is something I'll be filming soon, and it will come out in July. But today we're doing my mid-year freakout tag because it's easy and I'm tired. It's also super stormy out today, so the lighting is not very good. So we have some ambiance in the background going. And yeah, we're just gonna, this is the first time I've ever done like a tag or like anything like that. So it'll be fun. I've already answered all the questions in my notes, so we can just kind of get started. Oh wait, I always forget to introduce myself in the channel. I'm Nova, and this is Off My Rocker Reading. I'm just here to talk about books and see what you guys think. So the first question is the best books that I've read so far this year. I kind of have like a couple on here. It's all stuff that I've already talked about. If you want to hear me talk more in depth, I like do monthly wrap-ups, and I touch on like all the books that I've read. So, you know, if you're interested in that, there are other clips out there of me talking about these books like in much more detail. But for this, I'm just going to keep it super brief. A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft was my first 5-star read of the year, I believe. That book slays. It was so good. I loved it. It's a fantasy book. It's pretty popular. I keep saying I'm going to buy it and put it on my bookshelf. I still am planning to do that. I don't have any of the authors written down. I need to get those really quick. Okay. After that, I have Word Slut, which is a feminist linguistics book. That's by Amanda Montell, and she slayed. She slayed with that one. It was so good. She shows up again on this list, not in a positive way. So I'm happy to say that at least Word Slut really resonated with me. And I do think she's so like funny and talented and everything. But yeah, we'll talk about her again. The other one that I gave 5 stars, even though like as a book, I feel like it probably doesn't, it's not perfect. Like I feel like it probably doesn't deserve like 5 stars, but it just really resonated with me. I feel like it was just exactly what I needed to read at the time. It's a cozy sci-fi book. It's called Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. And I just highly recommend this. I just had such a time reading this, and it's definitely one of my favorites for this year, like, period. I also want to highlight the invocations right here because I feel like Crystal Sutherland just like gets better and better. This was so good. It's a very like dark academia witchy feeling book, so you can definitely put that on your fall TBR, I would say. And then the last one that I want to say that I would consider one of my best books this year, again, not because it's a perfect book, but just for this one especially, like it just kind of hit for me. I think it partially has to do with the fact that I just love the like setting. It's very much like windswept small town island feel, not in like a tropical way, in like a like chilled to the bone, like everything's damp and there's the little cottages and everything. Like I love that kind of feel. And it's a coming of age story, which I just usually like those a lot. But that's Whale Fall by Elizabeth O'Connor. Again, it's very quirky. It's very quirkily written. So I know it's not going to be for everybody, but for me, it was one of my favorites. Ooh, the second question is best sequel. And originally I didn't think, I was like, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to have an answer for that. But looking back through, definitely The Mystery Guest, which is the sequel to The Maid by, do I have her written down? I don't, I gotta find her. Oh, by Nita Prose. Yeah, the sequel came out this year for The Maid, and I really liked it. I thought it was just as good as the first one. There were a couple characters missing from it that I would have wanted more from, but so good, you know? And then my other favorite sequel from this year is one that I just recently read, so I haven't talked about it yet, but that's What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. I'm so happy that this is a series. I didn't realize until this book was announced that it was going to be, but I just really like this world. I like how she plays with, like new, like different pronouns, and just like the world that she creates here, I think is really cool and interesting. And I really like the characters. I think that's also its strong suit, and that definitely shone through in this second one, but I loved it. I had a time reading it. So yeah, big recommend for that. Definitely best sequel for me. Question 3, new release that I haven't read yet, but I want to. I've been reading a lot of new releases this year, so honestly, this part of the video could have been very long because I have a lot of things that I'm trying to get read all this year that have just come out. So I'm just gonna highlight a couple. Obviously, The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I love her. I am a slut for that woman. I love everything she writes. And I love mystery, obviously. If you've seen my other videos, you know. So yeah, definitely the Midnight Feast, not the Mystery Dress. I'm so sick. I'm sorry. I'm struggling, but it's okay. We're gonna get through. Oh, the next one, The Briar Club by Kate Quinn. She's an amazing historical fiction writer. I'm super excited for that. I believe it's already come out, so it would like fit in with this question, but I'm very interested in that. And then another one that I'm actually seeing a lot of other people say for this video specifically for the freak out tag is The Last Murder at the End of the World by, what's his name? Stuart. Good old Stu. Stuart, where are you? Yes, Stuart Turton. He wrote The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which that book wasn't like a full like hit for me. I thought the idea was much better than the execution, but I am still so curious about this book because the premises of his books are just very interesting. So we'll see. We'll see how the execution is this time. And the last one I want to say for this category is Poor Dear by Claire Oshetsky. This just came out. I actually already started it and then it got returned to the library, so I'm waiting for it again. But she wrote Chouette, which is one of my favorite books that I've read since I started reading again. It is about a woman who has an affair with an owl and has an owl baby. And it's so good. This Poor Dear has kind of just a similar premise in the sense of like, it's just very wacky and out there, but, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed her other books, so I'm very, very excited to read this, and I'm hoping it does not disappoint. As far as my most anticipated release, I have a couple. Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid, also a woman who can do no wrong. I'm so excited for that book. And then in a similar vein, and also somebody that I already mentioned, Alison Saft, has A Dark and Drowning Tide coming out, and what a beautiful cover. I'm so excited for this one as well. It's a sapphic fantasy romance, which I'm, just very excited for. So we'll see. And then in a totally different sense, I have Wanted, Toddler's Personal Assistant on here. That is a memoir that's coming out. That is by Stephanie Kaiser, and it is a memoir about her experience nannying for upper class families. It's just something that really resonates with me in my life and in my experiences, so I'm super excited for this book. I think it comes out in the fall though, so I have to wait a little while. But here we go, getting a little juicy. Biggest disappointments. I have probably more, like I have quite a few of these that I could have put on this book. I feel like I've read more bad books this year than I have in years previous. But unfortunately, I do have Amanda Montell's new book, The Age of Magical Overthinking. I DNF'd this at 40%-ish, I believe. Just not a hit. I feel like she was really trying to do something, and it just, I don't know if we're all just crazy and like gaslighting her and like this is actually brilliant, but I feel like it was not giving what it should have been giving, I suppose. It's kind of memoir-y, and I don't think anybody was expecting that. I think that that's part of it. And it just doesn't go into this topic the way that I was expecting to, I guess. And to be honest, I originally like DNF'd it and thought I was going to pick it up again later, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to let this one lie because I hear a lot of people saying the same thing as I was already feeling at 40%. So that's a big one for me. The next one, I actually am making a video about this book as well. It's going to be my second rant review. So not the one that's coming out next month, but that's Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. This was horrible, and I am not hearing enough people say that it's horrible, and that is concerning to me. So I'm making a whole book about this. It's a very light sci-fi book about a robot who's like a sex doll, basically. Just like very brief idea of what it's about. And she's in this like toxic relationship, and it's bad. It's really bad. And the reason that it's bad, and what I plan on talking about, is just the ethics of what's going on are so all over the place. The feminist messaging that is supposedly in this book is so all over the place. This was a big miss for me, and it was something I was looking forward to. So it has to go here in this category. And kind of in a similar vein as my last one, Diavola by Jennifer Marie Thorne. This was supposed to be kind of a gothic, ghosty story set in Italy. And it started out so strong, and I love books like this, so I was so excited. I thought the beginning was so promising, but I feel like the author just really lost what she was trying to say by the end of the book, because again, I feel like the messaging of it is just really like all over the place. I also don't think it had a satisfying ending at all, and I've read a lot of other books like this, so like me being disappointed with this one, I feel like I got a little cred saying that, because like I could give you 3 examples right now of books that are like better than this. Like literally anything by Mona Awad. I wasn't even a big fan of Rouge, and I think Rouge was better than this. So definitely was a big disappointment for me, because it is a type of book that I really like to read. Next question is biggest surprise. I have a really easy answer for this, which again, and if you've seen my other videos, you've probably already gathered that I would say this. Funny Story by Emily Henry for me was just stellar. It was so good. 5 stars, easy peasy. Like, it was a slay. And I am not a romance person at all. I don't like romance, and at this point in my life, I barely even like romance when it's like a subplot. So the fact that I like her books as much as I do really says something. And also, like, I the first one I read by her was Happy Place. This is like Funny Story is only the second book that I've read by her, but the fact that I think Funny Story is like even better than Happy Place is like really saying something. So I feel like it has to be my biggest surprise. Oh, new favorite author is the next question. I think that's a really good question. I don't typically think about like the authors as much, and like, oh, my new favorite author. So this was a fun one to go try to find an answer for. And the first person I'll say is Joanna Van Veen. She wrote My Darling Dreadful Thing, which I just read. It's another gothic ghosty story, but it was really, really good. And her book that's coming out, I think next year, is already on Goodreads, and reading the blurb for that one, I'm even more interested in that one than I was in My Darling Dreadful Thing. So she is an author I'm very interested in watching and seeing what else she puts out, because very much up my alley, but also just I thought it was really good. Another person I want to shout out for favorite author is somebody that I just think is doing a lot of good in the space that they're in. That's Sabrina Imbler. I've only read the Light one. Hold on, let me find it. I've only read How Far the Light Reaches by them, but I'm also very interested in Dyke. My library doesn't have it, so I'm gonna have to get it somewhere else. But yeah, I think they're just doing a lot of good for the queer space of literature, and also like they're just so smart. Like that's a book that I read and I'm like, I wish that I could like think this way and like write like this, you know. I also have Rachel Hawkins on here in the sense that Rachel Hawkins, I have read all of her like main thrillers, you know, the ones that have gotten really popular like every summer for the past couple years. And I truly think that Rachel Hawkins just gets better and better and better every single time. The book that came out this year, I forget what it's called, but I truly think that that's the best book that she's written. And I think that like, in my experience with her books went from being 3 stars to 4 stars to, I just gave this one 5 stars for this year. I think that she just is really like honing her craft for like thriller and mystery. And I very much admire that because I love that genre. So I have to shout her out as well. Oh gosh. Okay. The next one is newest fictional crush. I don't really read with that kind of thing in mind. So I'm going to say like 3 kind of different things. I will give you some Nova lore. When I was a kid, my biggest crush of all time on any book character ever, and that stands true to this day, back when I kind of used to read more like that, was Jem from the Clockwork trilogy by what's-her-face, the Mortal Instruments lady. Jem has truly like a piece of my heart forever and ever through all time. Like, there's just no getting over that one for me. So there's a little piece of my lore for you. But as far as like today, things that I'm reading today, I will say that I really liked the romance in Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. That's a kind of like planetary sci-fi type book, but I thought the romance was really sweet. I was like happy that it was there, and I don't always feel that way. So yeah, I would say that. And then the other thing that I would say, just as like maybe the closest thing to like a crush that I could have, is I really do love Alex Easton in like the What Feats at Night by T. Kingfisher. I just think Alex is a cutie, and I love a sad, tormented little they them. So yeah, I would say Alex for sure is the closest thing that I guess I could consider to a new crush. The next question is new favorite characters in general. I would say really just What Feasts at Night in general. I love the characters in that book. I would also say The Maid by Nita Prose. The characters in those books are just super lovable characters, and I love those books for that specifically. Of Far Wilder Magic, those have my 2 favorite protagonists probably of the whole year. I love the boy and the girl that are the mains in that one. I forget their name because I forget everybody's name, but you know. Oh, and then this one, I never even talked about this book because it was, I read it during the month that I took a break. Okay, so this one is How to Solve Your Old Murder. How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. It is supposedly the beginning of a series, which is why I want to say something about it, because I do think that it was not a perfect book. Okay, it was not perfect. It was still good. I liked it, but I'm interested to see where it goes because I think that the main character is really promising. Yeah, I really liked her, and I felt like it was a split POV, so we didn't get as much of her as I would have even liked. We didn't get as much of her growth, so that's why I'm happy that it's a series, because I'm happy to see kind of where she goes, if that makes sense. I don't know. Oh, next question, books that made me cry. I don't really cry a lot when I read. I get like moved and emotional sometimes, but I feel like it takes a lot to make me cry. I can only name one book that did that in the past couple years. I guess I'll give you that one. Hold on, I have to go find it because I didn't even write this down. But it's The Other Mother by Matthew Dix. But this, oh gosh, this book, it's about a boy he's a little troubled, and he wakes up one day with the very real condition of believing that his mother has been replaced by an identical copy of his mother. So it's not his real mother, but she's like this fake mother, and that is a real thing that happens to people. And it was just so like tragic in a way, and he's kind of troubled at school, and the moment where he feels solidarity with other students for the first time and doesn't feel as ostracized, and just his reaction to that was it was so moving to me. Like it makes me emotional like now just like thinking about it. So I would definitely recommend that book. He is like a 13-year-old boy as a narrator, and I know that's the reason a lot of people don't like this one as much. But I really liked it. So I would say that. As far as this year, yeah, I think the only book that I would say like really like deeply moved me, funny enough, is one that people tend to put in a category of like weird female protagonist books. And I don't always find those super poignant, but this one, wow. Like I was just kind of blown away by how deep it went, I guess, into certain topics, but that's Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. It is weird, also like very big trigger warning for like I feel like I keep saying like words wrong. Did I just say trigger warning? Maybe that's because I have a stuffy nose. Sorry. Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. Yeah, it's kind of lumped in with these other books that are just like kind of weird, like, oh, Mother Thing and like stuff like that. But I think truly like this one goes so deep into things that I don't see talked about as much. It literally, a big topic in it is like Palestine. And I think that that's super relevant for today, especially. This was written a couple years ago, but yeah, I would really recommend this one. It was like it also doesn't have like a happy ending, which is also partially why it was just like a punch to the gut for me. But yeah, I would say that one for sure. Oh, okay, so the next question is books that made me happy. I do have written down here, and I did already say it, but Whale Fall. Yeah, I don't know. Whale Fall just scratched an itch for me. It very much feels like that sort of just windswept island folk tale-y type vibe. It reminds me of the movie Song of the Sea a little bit, like that kind of setting. If anyone knows what that is, it's a very sweet animated movie. Definitely recommend that. But yeah, I just love that. I love that vibe. And so that book really, like, it really made me happy, as well as the Shady Hollow series. The Shady Hollow series is just like a little book of cozy mysteries with these very like humanoid type woodland animals. Think like Fantastic Mr. Fox, but like books. Well, Fantastic Mr. Fox is a book, but like it's a whole series, and it's more like murder mystery. I think they are like children's, so they're pretty light, but yeah, those ones are really, really sweet. I like them a lot, and it's an ongoing series, so I would say that. The most beautiful book I've bought. Listen, I don't really buy books. I will not lie to you. I'm just, that's not me. I feel like the book sphere online has become very much about like buying books. I don't do that very much. So I don't have a lot of things. Like, I don't have a lot I could show you. I have determined that the best thing I can show you is this. I'm going to get it. I thrifted these while I was in Florida. It is The Flower Fairies by Cicely Mary Barker. And it's all of them except for Summer. Somebody bought the Summer one and none of the other ones. So I have to buy the Summer to complete the set. But yeah, they're really pretty. I made a video about them on my Instagram, plug for that. But yeah, they're just beautiful, illustrated. Yeah, love. What a find. I'm still so happy about that. So yeah, I would say that's probably the most beautiful book I bought this year. I think I've literally only bought like maybe 2 other books, and they're just like random novels. So that's the best I can do for that question. Oh man. And then yeah, last question, what books do I need to read by the end of the year? Dude, I can't tell you that. There's so many. I probably could name 500 books sitting here right now, you know? Like, my list is so long on Goodreads. It's literally insane. And I have like more like screenshotted in my like camera roll too. Like, it's so, my system is inefficient. I can just never read as much as I want to. So yeah, way too many to even say. But yeah, but I read a little bit of everything. So if you're here and you've never seen me before, like, you can follow along with me. I feel like I've kind of got something for everyone, because I'd read anything. So dude, I need to go to the bathroom so bad, and I was gonna try to close out this video before I did it, and it's not happening. Just un momento. Okay, I'm back. I really tried. I tried to get through to the end. I couldn't do it. But wow, it stopped storming. The sun is coming out. Amazing. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think, if you've read any of these. Again, like I said, if you want to hear me talk a little bit more about any of them, I'm sure you can go find them in one of my wrap-ups. But yeah, if you stuck with me all the way here, thank you. I'm not feeling my best, so I appreciate you. I have a lot of exciting things coming up. I truly, genuinely have content planned through the end of the year, plus January. So lots of fun things coming up. If you've vibed with me today, you know, go ahead, like, subscribe. You can, find my Instagram in the description. That's always a good place to DM me, talk to me. Yeah, I just want to know what people think. I want to find like community, so never hesitate to reach out. But it's all I got. Let me know, you know, some of your favorites, some of your biggest disappointments. I would love to know. Yeah, and I will see you very shortly for another wrap up. So thanks for being here. Wish me luck on recovering, because I'm not doing good. Bye.